Welcome back to the EchoVideo Podcast. I'm your host, Hunter Tapley. Joining me as always is Bart. Bart, how's it been?
Hello, everyone. Glad to be back as always. It's been good. I got to see my sister came up from Holland this weekend, which was very nice. Got to see her again. And in proper holiday fashion, we binged all of Lord of the Rings movies and then went back to watch the whole TV show. And it's not bad. There's some duds. There's a lot of build up. There's some, like, if you're really in the canon of things, there's some, like, breaking of lore. But it's not bad, I think. I think I like it. But yeah, so I did that. Then I also texted you about the Guitar Hero shit. But man, what a disappointment. So Miranda and I, after work yesterday, we went on a Facebook Marketplace, found 4 Guitar Hero controllers for $50. So that's like fucking awesome. We got all amped to play it, installed it, whatever. And then you need the fucking dongles, man. I didn't realize you need the dongles. Fucking sucks.
Yeah.
So now we're on the hunt for
You
dongles. We got fucking swindled.
Those are PS3 controllers?
Yeah, PS3, but PS4 they require like the dongle, like a little Bluetooth adapter you plug in so you can play. So now we have the game installed with the DLC and 4 controllers, but no fucking way to play it. Man, it was our anniversary, 4-year anniversary yesterday, and oh man, it all fell apart. But yeah, so now I have even more beef with Activision. But alas, how about you, man? How was your week?
Not too bad. I didn't do too much. Just kind of Thanksgiving dinner, hung out at home, watched movies. Can't really remember all of what I watched.
Fair enough.
I watched The Giant Claw, which was pretty funny.
Thanksgiving classic.
Some fucking movies from some movie from the 50s. Big Giant Vulture is pretty funny.
Cuts.
What else did I watch? I thought I watched something pretty gnarly, but maybe I didn't. I can't remember. I honestly can't remember what I watched.
Oh man, speaking of gnarly, I went to Cinema One the other day, and I saw Cannibal Holocaust there on full Halloween special display. I was like, wow. It's like,
Did they have a new one, or was it just the one that I have, the Grindhouse?
It was the Grindhouse one, yeah. But I've never seen it so like openly displayed before. So, good times, happy times.
No, dude, I fucking love that. That's like one of my favorite movies of all time. I'm trying to get I want to watch Cannibal Freakox, but like I have it. I've mentioned I've got the 2 copies. I got the British copy and I had to buy the uncensored copy. So I got to find time to watch Cannibal Freakox. So
man, Cannibal Holocaust and all those fucked up movies, like Cannibal Holocaust, you and I have talked about this before. The soundtrack fucking slaps. And I meant to talk about this too in Threads. The soundtrack there is also really good. And it's the saddest shit that's happening. People are like withering away, burning alive, or being impaled by entire logs in the case of Cannibal Holocaust. And it's just like, But yeah.
Who did that? Ritz something. Is it Ritz Ortolani? Yeah, I think it's Ritz Ortolani. I think that's his name.
He's the composer?
That's a good ass. Yeah, I think that's the composer. For Cannibal Holocaust, anyways.
Banger. Yeah, man.
Even Freakox, Cannibal Freakox has got a pretty good soundtrack as well.
Damn.
That was like one of the best. That it came with the CD. The Grindhouse movie of Cannibal Holocaust comes with the CD.
See, they knew what they were doing. They knew. I've studied to it a few times. Just tossed it on in the background, looped it, and just typed away. It's a good track, man. It's a good track.
It's good. I do enjoy it.
It's very soothing if you don't think about the rest of the film.
Yeah, for sure. Anything you'd recommend that you watched or did? I mean, other than Lord of the Rings?
Would recommend Rock Band, but I haven't played it. R.I.P. Okay. No, really, just there was a big Lord of the Rings weekend. Didn't really do anything aside from that. Basically, the day afterwards was just cleaning up my room, and now here we are. So it was just nice visit to Middle Earth. What about you? Anything you recommend? Anything new or crazy on the horizon?
No, I can't. Honestly, if I remembered what I watched, I would. Maybe The Giant Claw. I'd recommend The Giant Claw if you can find it. Kind of goofy.
Horror movie?
Fun. Yeah, kind of from the 50s. Fuck. Yeah, it's from the 50s. Black and white. It's pretty fun.
Oh, no.
Kind of pretty goofy, but pretty fun in the end.
Check it out.
Yeah, that's about all I did. And I mean, I guess moving on, you don't have anything other than Middle Earth.
Yeah, no, it was just a one-way stop, really.
Just
Oh
fucking
shit!
Middle Earth all
Actually, I
weekend.
did get my sister to play Until Dawn, so that was pretty fun. So she was
Oh,
shaking
okay.
her boots the whole time. It was nice to revisit that. I remember I
Did
played
you
it.
play? Yeah, you played at
Yeah,
my
for the
house.
first
You played the
time.
whole
Yeah,
thing.
yeah, in like a 10-hour sitting. It's great. It's glorious.
Yeah. Did you play the Quarry? I think the Quarry's made by the same people.
I haven't yet. Isn't it good?
I played a bit of it. It's pretty. It's kind of weird. It's very very weird.
Like,
Like graphic.
oh,
It's not really great graphically, like the faces and everything, but everyone moves so awkwardly. Like Until Dawn, I remember looking pretty good, but this one just looks real weird. I haven't finished it. I'm about halfway through, but I should probably finish it.
because I heard of like weren't they doing a whole trilogy of things? Or not quite a trilogy, but like a triple anthology kind of thing, where like the Quarry was one of them. There was one on a boat or something ocean themed. Maybe I'm completely out of my depths. I have no fucking clue, but I thought that was something.
I don't remember a boat one, but maybe that's to come.
Perhaps. But
Yeah,
yeah, it was nice to revisit it. Good old scares. I
that's
think
good.
everyone died. So that when Marloose played it, nobody was left alive.
Nobody.
No.
Dude, have you fucking noticed how fucking rude people are?
Oh shit.
Or is that just
In day
me?
to day?
Just like in life. Like I remember everyone being a little more polite and kinder and using common fucking manners,
Oh yeah.
like please and thank you. Nowadays, dude, everyone's like fucking no one fucking says thank you, no one says hello, no one says please. It's just fucking rude assholes everywhere I go.
Yeah, I feel that.
And
Everybody's
it's just
just been
this
locked up, cooped up, or they're just entitled. I
oh
don't
my
know.
god, dude.
It's weird, man. It's like
It's
being back in
fucking
Holland. Because if you go to the grocery stores there or whatever, people just like butt in front of you or kind of knock into you or just get their shit. No one's gonna say a thing. But in Canada, like the big difference is like, oh, thank you, sorry, please, excuse me. None of that shit, man.
dude,
It's like
that's
Holland now. It's like a war zone. It's every
yeah.
man for himself.
Everyone's so fucking rude nowadays.
The students, especially here, man, because we got Conestoga, Laurier, and Waterloo in like a 5 kilometer vicinity. So just all students.
Oh
So
yeah.
in like when the summer comes to an end in September, like car crashes
And
and fucking
fucking
injuries like fucking skyrocket and
Jesus.
shit. Yeah, man, people are insane.
Students students are fucking the
Students
worst.
are the worst, man.
Like it's a mix of just entitlement, fucking rich kids,
Yeah,
fucking poor kids. It's just entitled pricks thinking they know better than everybody.
yeah.
It's the fucking worst,
I
dude.
almost got fucking
I fuck
sidelined coming like I was biking just on this busy road and somebody just whipped out pulling a left. I almost got like hit like it was like
oh
an ass
fuck.
hair away from just hitting my tire.
Fuck, dude.
Yeah.
That I've oh my god, dude. People are the fucking worst. Like I've fucking seen so many shitty drivers on the road nowadays.
Mm.
Like, I don't know what happened, but the asshole beam has just fucking fully awakened everybody. Like, everyone's just such an asshole on the road. Like, there's so many bad drivers. Like, you should have seen the fucking thing that happened the other day. The guy pulled out in front of me. Like, so I'm at an intersection. I stop and I go to make my turn. Mid-turn, this guy decides he's just going to rolling stop. Notices I'm in the middle of the lane. He cuts into the shoulder, cuts ahead of me, and we're at a red light. He flips me off, keeps like looking out his window and cursing at me. And I'm just like, what the fuck is your
Holy
deal,
shit,
man?
man.
I'm just like, dude, I fucking have this huge hunting knife in my
Oh my
car.
god. Just pull out the machete.
So I legitimately pulled it out and held it outside my window and said, come fucking fight me,
Dude,
dude.
that's some
Like, I'm
neck of the
ready.
woods.
He
Fucking.
fucking stopped doing it, dude. I was like some fucking asshole from Toronto.
Oh
Like I
shit.
can
His
guarantee
middle
you,
finger just like
he was just
deflated
like,
as you pulled out the fucking
dude, he
machete.
stopped doing it after I did that. I said, fucking come over here, man. I'll fucking cut your fucking face off and wear it to your mom's
Holy fuck,
house.
some Hannibal Lecter shit. Yo, how's the highway up to Dwight, man? Because I remember around this time it would just be lined with cars of people taking pictures. Like you could barely get through it.
It was, yeah, with the fall,
Yeah.
it was really bad over Thanksgiving.
Mm,
Like it was pretty awful. But recently it's been okay.
mm. I remember at the
It's been okay. It's been okay this week. Monday it was okay, and to now it's been okay. But fucking last weekend was fucking gong show.
Disgusting. I remember driving up to yours once, like early September, and that normally takes me, I don't know, half an hour, 25 minutes. It took me, like, honest to God, like an hour and a half, almost 2 hours just to get through it. Because you can't pass, right? There's no passing, and there's too many cars in front of you, so you
Yeah,
can't see who the fuck's coming. So you're literally just
yeah,
there awaiting your fucking fate while everyone's just like, la-di-da, taking fucking pictures. You're like, no.
yeah. And and people are fucking psychotic on that road. Like people
Oh
will
my God, yeah, people
pass
are on a
in like
fucking death trip.
death sentences.
Hmm.
I remember, dude, sometimes one dude was pissing me off. He was on my ass the whole fucking road, and I'm just like, dude, I'm going 120 and an 80. Like, you need to fucking slow down. Like, we both need to
You're
slow down, but
speed
you
racing.
especially. And he fucking pulls in front of me on a corner, like a blind corner. Fucking transporter comes. I was like really tempted to speed up to freak him out. Like he had a little bit of time. Like it wasn't like
Yeah.
suddenly, but a transporter came around, and I was like,
Oh,
"Fuck, dude, I want to speed up so bad to freak this guy out." But
make him hit the
I fucking
brakes.
slowed down and let him in. But
Shit, man. Yeah, people
fucking
are
people, dude.
insane. In what fucking world is that worth it? Like, cut someone off,
Dude, I
kill
don't even
potentially
know.
two people. Sick. Like,
Oh
it's
yeah,
just fucking dumb, man. Especially on those rural roads when they're in like cottage country Muskoka. Nobody gives a
dude,
fuck, man. It's like the fucking
dude,
autobahn there.
it's all fucking people from Toronto and
Yeah, it's all
shit.
rich bitches.
People from Toronto, dude, I fucking hate them when they drive up here. Like I hate to sound like fucking local, but they are the worst drivers. They have
Mm.
no fucking respect. They put fucking trash all over the fucking
Oh yeah, the
parks.
trash is bad. I remember that being on the
Dude,
road too. Like whenever the in the fall, when they're taking the pictures,
yeah.
they leave just as much
Mhm.
trash behind as like as many photos they take. Like it's gross.
Dude, it fucking pisses me off. I fucking like the trash is like bad driving's fucking one thing, but trash, I can't fucking dude, I can't stand it when I see a big bag of someone's fucking garbage middle of the road. I fucking want to curb stomp their
Yeah,
asses.
that's
It fucking pisses me off. Dude, it fucking honestly
it's
pisses
fucking
me off.
stupid, man. Yeah, it's like the irony in it too. They come to admire something beautiful and then literally fucking litter. Like, what the fuck are you doing? Do you have no self-awareness? But alas, that's enough of us about going incel on
Yeah.
these fucking tourists.
Oh, dude, hold. I
Oh
got a
no,
story.
shoot, shoot,
This is a
shoot.
couple years old. This is from when I was in fucking college. I came home for the Thanksgiving. So I was the tourist, but we went into the park and we walked on one of these trails, like one of the more populated trails.
Hmm.
And for the most part, it was okay. Like, it was a lot of hikers, but everyone was pretty respectful. And there was this fucking guy, like, there was this group of people, and I thought they were looking at an animal in the woods. And I was like a group of Indian people,
Hmm.
right? And I was like, oh, I wonder what they're like looking at, like if it's like a deer or a moose or something. So I walk up and I look up the corner, and they're kind of like blocking me from looking up. So I'm like, are they trying to like prevent me from seeing a fucking like an animal? Like that's fucking pretty rude. So then I was like, whatever. Walked around because I know that like the trail kind of loops around and you can look down on the area where they're blocking. So I kind of rushed ahead, went up the hill, looked down. There's a dude taking a shit in the
Oh
woods.
my
And
God.
I was like,
What
you
the
fucking
fuck? What
animal.
a sight to
Dude,
behold.
I started yelling like, whoa, like started screaming at him, and he started fucking freaking out. And I was like, you fucking idiot. There's bathrooms all over the
Holy
place,
fuck.
man.
Man, they gotta like
Dude,
stand
I
up
was,
and squeeze that shit between your ass cheeks. Oh man. Or you gotta go fucking primal and get the leaf or just dirt from the ground.
dude, he went
You went
primal,
primal?
that
Holy
man.
shit. Instinct.
I was
Pure
fucking
instinct.
laughing. He was like, I didn't know what he was doing at first, and then I could fucking see what he was doing, and I just started like hooting and hollering at
Did you
him,
see
and
it
I was like
first or
pointing
smell
him
it
out.
first?
I saw him. I saw him first. He was like far down,
Okay.
like he wasn't like fucking. I was like right in his fucking personal space, but I could clearly see him. Like they didn't realize the trail looped around or something.
Oh shit.
Fuck, was that ever funny,
Man, this
dude?
is the biggest fucking digression ever. This is supposed to be a film podcast, but this just reminded me of that. When I was I don't know, 8 or 9 or something, my parents took me to France and we lived on this like big camping site for like 6 months. And the toiletries there were like it was a nice like campground, but the toiletries were like pretty run down. There were a lot of like families there. Like a lot of people that were
Yeah, it's
either
just
there on
like
vacation or there because they had nowhere else to live, that kind of thing.
it's just a fucking hole in the ground,
Yeah,
pretty
basically.
much.
But what they did is there wasn't a single hole. There were several holes behind each other. So you had stalls, but the bottom
Oh,
was like kind of open, like as they normally are. So you can see. So when somebody takes a shit in front of you, you can see all that shit spewing down into the hole when you're behind them taking a shit. It's fucking foul, man. So whatever they ate that
dude,
morning, it's all just pouring down right in front of you. And you're just trying to relieve yourself. It's fucking foul. It's either
that's
like solid or like
that's
a hole.
so
It's fucking
nasty.
gross, man. I don't know. That just triggered that in me, I guess.
Oh, dude,
France.
fuck! I got another.
Oh.
I got another good story. I was not personally here for this, and I do know the guy personally. But where I worked in over the summer a couple of years ago, there was Algonquin Outfitters.
Mm-hmm.
There was this one guy, and every year on July 1st, this big camp group. So there's this camp group called Camp Stone, and it's a big Jewish camp, and it's like this insane summer camp. Like I think it takes place the entire summer, and it costs like 30 grand.
Holy fuck.
And the kids come from like New York, and they go all over America. Like they go to like Yellowstone and all these theme parks in Florida, and then they come up to Canada and they go to Canada's Wonderland. Then they come down to Algonquin
Damn.
Park and stuff. Like it's a fucking like every kid there is like loaded. So they come up to us and we give them rentals like canoes, paddles, life jackets, and guides and stuff. I don't know what's wrong with these kids, but when they get off the bus, the bathrooms, they all have to simultaneously go to the bathroom.
Holy shit.
And when I started, I got kind of the more appropriate, like we installed porta potties, and I was like, why do you have porta potties? And it's just like, well, basically because Camp Stone came one year and their bathrooms are on septic tanks.
Mm-hmm.
They went into the
Oh
bathroom.
no.
One kid clogged the toilet, didn't tell anybody, didn't make an effort to tell anyone not to use it, and kids just kept using it. And when you use a clogged toilet, it starts to fill. And from what I heard, the toilet bowl was full, and there was all over the ground. Like people went on the ground. People started going on the ground, and then when they realized they couldn't use that, they went fucking primal and started like going to the bathroom all over the staff where the staff
What the
lives
fuck?
in the accommodation. Like someone said they woke up in the morning because they didn't work that day, opened their door, there was a kid taking a shit right in front of their fucking staff cabin.
Holy fuck.
And they're just like, yeah, I'm not doing it today. I went back in and went in and I was like,
I'll try again tomorrow.
what is wrong with people, man?
Holy
I
shit.
was like, they just went primal. They just turned into animals. And then my friend was like, the guy that I worked with was like, yeah, I had to clean it. And I was like, how did you clean it? He's like, you have to shovel off the top layer, get the plunger in there. And I was like, I really hope you made a decent wage.
Holy shit. If he wasn't promoted on the spot after that, gross.
He said he literally fucking brought a bucket of bleach and would just dip his hands in the bleach, clean, and then just go right back into the bleach. And I was like,
damn.
Rip your hand. I was like, rip your fucking
I mean,
hand.
I admire his dedication to the cause, but yeah, holy
Oh my
fuck.
God.
That's like some Kid City shit, like that JonTron. Is that Kid City? What the fuck is it called?
Kids City.
Do you remember when those children are like dumped off in the middle of some like Utah desert and they're like survive? What the fuck's that called?
What the fuck is that called? I know what that is.
Kid Nation. That's it. Kid Nation. That's what that fucking was. That's what they didn't show you. That's what really happened behind the scenes.
Exactly.
Holy
Fucking
fuck.
filling the toilet.
That's foul, man. That's gonna be like several health code violations, if not like a Geneva Convention. Like,
well, I just like to okay. In my personal opinion, if I went into a bathroom, toilet's clogged, I wouldn't use it.
see, simple as that. I would simply not
holding it.
shit in there.
I would be like, I can piss behind a tree. I can hold it for a little bit, but and then like let's say okay, it's emergency, really gotta go, tier 10 emergency. All right, I'll risk it. But if I go into a toilet and it's overflowing with shit and there's shit all over the floor and walls,
I'm not gonna. You're not gonna add to
tier
it.
emergency it is. I'm not doing that, man. I'm not adding to that.
Dude,
chaos.
you would sit down and feel shit go back up your ass. That's what would happen. That's fucking foul.
That's a very vile image.
You're welcome. That's in the Hellraiser sequel.
All right. to fucking
Yeah, I
move
guess
on
we
from
should. This fucking
the hilarious
the toiletries.
discussions. So yes, as discussed last week, we are talking about the recently released 2022 film Hellraiser, the remake of Hellraiser. This was a Hulu original film, and I thought this was going to Disney Plus, just like
That's
Prey
what I
did.
thought, because it's Hulu.
Prey was an
This
was a
was the
Hulu original film,
fucking.
and it was on.
Sorry, go ahead. No, go ahead.
Okay, it was on Disney Plus day one in Canada. So I was like, okay, not that bad. We recorded our podcast. Next day, Hellraiser's not on. I was like, okay, maybe it's gonna come out later tonight. You know, maybe they're not doing a midnight release. They're gonna kind of release it at, I don't know, 5:00 for everybody. Still wasn't on. And then I had to search for it, and I had to go to the deepest pits of the internet. I gave my computer AIDS to watch
Gave it
this
every
movie.
virus.
My computer has the AIDS virus because of this.
Holy
And
Jesus.
My God, it was brutal to find this.
Fuck,
movie,
man.
But I did find it.
Did you also
watch it.
get cucked going to 123 movies? You found it, played it, and it's the original Hellraiser? I was like, son of a bitch.
Yeah. Well, dude, I watched the intro and I literally was like, maybe they're paying homage to the
This
original.
looks awfully
with
familiar.
And then I was like, Bob Kane. That's familiar name. I doubt they got him back. And then I was like, God damn it. And then I fucking was so pissed about that.
Oh my God. Yeah, man. I found it on Project Free TV, and like every time you paused it or like changed the volume, it would like force up 3 separate ads. You have to close them all individually to fucking window. So every time I wanted to take a note, so my notes are a bit more sporadic because I was like, fuck that, I'm not pausing it and like canceling out of all of those ads. What a cancerous thing to find.
123 movies, dude. I figured out if you click the second link, like the second video they had in that one, it was the movie. It wasn't the original.
Oh.
There was 2 videos if you click the second one.
Oh, if we just looked a little deeper.
Yeah.
Fuck. Yeah, man, I was expecting it to
All
come
right.
to Hulu too, but alas.
It did not. So we had to both suffer to the fucking pits of the internet to find this movie.
The quality for mine
Which is
was
so
like a
stupid.
crisp 720. Like that's about the fucking
Yeah.
cap that I hit.
Which is so stupid. I hate that Hulu isn't available in Canada. Like, it's so goofy.
So
And
stupid,
then
man.
I
Same
read
with
that it's
HBO,
going
'cause
to
they got
come,
Crave.
like, worldwide on October 25th. Yeah, Crave. But they probably don't get all the original, like, all the HBO Max films.
Yeah, no, that's what I meant. Like you can get Crave in Canada, but you have to get HBO, which is American, for an extra $10 on top of your subscription. It's so dumb, man.
It's so dumb. Dude, that's why I buy all the physical media.
Me
I
too,
can.
man.
They can't fucking take that shit away.
None of
from
this
me.
shit.
They have to come to my house and pry it
Or your
from my
cold
fucking
dead hands.
Yeah, they have to, dude. You can't. I don't think you can find the fucking Dungeons and Dragons episode of Community
No,
anymore because they took that shit right off of.
unless
streaming.
you own
And
the
I was
physical,
like,
yeah.
I don't know if I think recent releases. I don't know about this, but I want to say recent releases of the Blu-ray maybe got rid of it.
Really?
I don't know about that fully. I would think they wouldn't.
Shit,
but
man. They
fucking
did
crazy,
that
dude.
in The Office with Dwight going blackface for fucking Black Pete, the Dutch holiday.
Yeah. That's and then there's like the weird part about that, dude, is if you cut to so they got rid of that episode. Not even that episode, just that little clip of the guy walking up as fucking Black Peter. But if you watch in season 2, they still have the episode where Michael thinks the IT guy wearing a turban is
Oh yeah.
like they kept that in. It's like, what's the point, man? They're both equally awful jokes. Like they're both equally hilarious jokes.
If you're gonna
Like,
dedicate to like cleaning up your streaming stuff, then it, like, oh man, that feels so like virtue signaling, man.
No, they
Dumb.
shouldn't fucking have to remove anything, man. That's so fucking stupid of them to do that, and I hated when they did it.
See, I think
just
it's a
like-
lot better what Disney did with a whole bunch of Looney Tunes ones, where they give like a quick little like
Just
10-second like,
exactly.
hey, heads up, you know, this isn't exactly right anymore. Talk to you about your kid with it. Teach them right, but this still did happen. So it's important to acknowledge that, right? Like, why the fuck would you just wipe
Exactly.
that out? It doesn't make any sense.
Exactly, dude. All right, we gotta move on.
Fuck.
From that. We gotta go to fucking Hellraiser. initial thoughts of Hellraiser, like first thoughts, I actually like this movie.
Right on.
I I enjoyed it beginning to end. I have my complaints, which we'll get
Mm.
into, but overall, I think this was a great movie. I actually really, really enjoyed it. And if you know me personally, I tend to like older movies, and I go easy on older movies. I fucking hate newer movies. That's one thing a lot of people realize about me. If you show me a fucking movie from today, I have a lot higher
Mm.
standards if it's released modernly, but I go a little easier on the oldies. But I actually really enjoyed this movie. I thought it was good. What did you think?
Right on, man. Glad to hear it. For me, it was a little bit of a mixed bag. I liked most of it, but there were some issues that were like, I don't know. I feel like a lot of it was sequel baiting. That kind of annoyed me. There wasn't a whole lot of like. That's not true. I shouldn't say that. Not a whole lot of it was sequel baiting. Near the end of it, I feel like it lacked a bit of conclusion, which is fine. I
That's
just didn't expect it.
that's
Oh, okay.
exactly what I thought. The ending was a little dry,
Yeah. Yeah, because
but
Miranda and I watched it together, and I thought that the final conflict was a little bit boring. Like it came down to a lot of waiting, like who was going to make a move to kind of let things slowly happen. And then I had some issues with some of the characters. I thought they were a little bit not shallow, but just poorly developed, especially everybody outside of Riley, the main character. But
yeah,
most of it, I really liked it because I liked the costumes, I liked the effects, I liked the new things they tried out. For the most part,
I
I
didn't
liked it.
like I didn't like the CG. I'll get into that
Mm,
later, but yeah. So I mean, I don't really feel like fucking plot crunching the whole movie, but basically, this movie does definitely straight. This is like what I like. This is a good remake, in my opinion. This is a solid remake. This isn't a fucking requel. This isn't Scream
mm,
2022. I don't know if I've mentioned this. I fucking hate Scream
it's not
2022.
great.
But this isn't like, oh, this is Hellraiser, but it's also a part of the original Hellraiser saga. Like we're gonna have Doug Bradley in it, but he's gonna be in like this
Mm,
other like they didn't try to connect this to the original Hellraiser, which I really have to fucking I honestly respect that they did
yeah,
that
it's
because
ballsy.
I honestly thought they were gonna show Doug Bradley. I thought they were going to try to connect it in some way, have an original cast member come back and say like, I know the box and I can solve it or something like
Mm,
that. This was straight up just a new story, and I honestly enjoyed that aspect of it. This wasn't like a fucking requel ass, oh, we got to connect it to the original or no one's going to watch it. I honestly respected the hell out of that they did that.
fair enough.
And I did really enjoy it
Fair enough.
because
Yeah,
of
you
it.
didn't have those like cameo moments where somebody will walk in and the camera will kind of hold on them and they turn around like it's Corey in the house and they're like, oh, like a guest character, you know? Like that's always so awkward in those movies. That happened in Scream 2022, I think, a fair bit. Um,
Hmm.
yeah, I think for the most, I don't know. I'm a little loosey goosey on it, but we can talk about it. I did actually. I'm glad they subverted me. The very final scene where we have what's his face, Roland Voight
Yeah,
transformed.
fucking getting ripped
Unfortunate.
apart.
For a minute,
That was
I thought that
awesome.
was going to be a Pinhead origin story, but I'm glad it didn't go there.
I thought, okay, what to jump ahead? What do you think that meant? Because I've seen a couple things. What do you think the meaning of that was?
So I don't know. I feel like so he initially chose seduction, not seduction, sensation. What was it? I think it was
Yeah,
sensation. Yeah,
sensation.
but that wasn't quite as fit. But he was in it long enough where I feel like he's passed some sort of test and then went on to like Power, which is Leviathan. So I think maybe one of the more like higher ranking potentially, like an apostle of sorts. Not 100% sure because I don't think he's gonna become the Leviathan, but he wasn't like a very crucified figure, right? Like a very Jesus Christ.
Hmm.
So I'm not sure. What do you think? We can talk about it.
I thought it was like more of an H.P. Lovecraft where like the ultimate sensation or the ultimate gift was to view the Leviathan and was to lay eyes on the Leviathan
Mm,
itself. Because you never actually see, like, you see the lights and the like distorted lights and stuff.
right.
I never thought that was the Leviathan. I thought like the human mind can't comprehend it.
Oh,
So
okay.
he was just like that was his body's reaction to viewing something that was unthinkable, kind of like an H.P. Lovecraft esque,
Mm,
like cosmic horror. The most common thing I've seen was that he was becoming a Cenobite,
mm,
but that's not as fun.
It's like some Bloodborne stuff, right? When you gain more insight, you can
Hmm.
kind of like comprehend and see. It's like a rite of passage essentially
Yeah,
before you get to
yeah.
gaze upon the alive, and that's pretty cool. No, I like that, the H.P. Lovecraft stuff.
You know what I really really liked about this movie
Hmm.
though. I really liked that the Cenobites were the bad guys because in the original Hellraiser, I gotta give it that over the original. Like this was about the Cenobites, and the Cenobites were always a constant threat,
Yeah.
and they never showed you them right away. Like they were always kind of hidden, but they always felt like they were around.
Hmm.
And every time that little knife went like tink out of it, fucking made me cringe every time.
Yeah,
Like it fucking cut
you
people's
never knew where it
hands.
was gonna come from, right? Oof.
Yeah, it was fucking gross. And the cuts it left was like a 2-inch divot. I was like,
Yeah, like it's
oh,
a good like that's
damn.
gonna need some stitches. What I
And
also
then,
like they kind of did
no,
was just
no, go
starting it
ahead.
off with Roland Void. So correct me if I'm wrong, because uncultured as I am, haven't seen any of the sequels, all like six of them. But Roland Void makes like this essentially this cage around like his big manor where he indulges in the pleasantries of life with other people. Um, I did like that because in the first one it was like a very individual experience, like one person sought it out. And this, it was much more like a cult almost of sorts. Like it was a whole organization, and he was like trying to figure this out and worship this, but other people were still doing like stuff on the side. And he was able to integrate them. It felt like a much bigger movement, which
Yeah,
I kind of hope they expanded on. Maybe they will still expand upon it,
yeah.
but I don't know. I like that kind of just seeing how it functioned within like those groups. So that was nice. It's good evolution.
I did like that part too, yeah. I did like I liked the puzzle box. I liked how it changed shapes
Yes, I really like
a
that
couple
because
times.
you and I remember us talking about for the first Hellraiser. It's like this little fucking box. You turn it around and you solved it. In this one, you have a much more like you can visually kind of keep track of like where it's at, how the puzzle is doing, how people are
Yeah,
like, is it almost done? The other one was just like box done, everyone's dead. So
yeah,
I like that. I
exactly.
like to follow along a bit more, and there was a bit more tension building with it too because you could see it kind
Hmm.
of reach its final form bit by bit. Um,
Then Pinhead. When you finally see Pinhead, it's a fucking woman,
mhm.
and it is Jamie Clayton, and she was fucking awesome. I might honestly prefer her to Doug Bradley's Pinhead. I don't
Wow.
know why. I truthfully think she just had more of a menacing
I liked
presence in
her
the film.
voice a lot more. I liked what they did with her voice.
The voice was a lot good, and I love when she fucking takes the pin out of her head and it's
Yeah.
like fucking 3 inches long, like fucking 6 inches long. I was like, holy shit.
Yeah.
I was like, oh my god. The only issue, the fucking CGI in this movie, and especially on some of the Cenobites, looks so fucking ass.
Mm.
Like on her face, especially in that original trailer, she looked so fucking awful. Like it looked like they deep faked on, like they deep
Yeah. I think
faked
they did
it.
some damage control in the CGI
Like
department after a trailer dropped. It.
the CG was distracting at
Mm.
times. There was some shots that were better than others. Some of it I wasn't sure if it was like there was some definite practical stuff, but like some stuff did look better than others, but unfortunately the Pinhead, just you could tell the fucking some of the nails in her, like the pins in her face were digitally added, and it just looked kind of confusing
Right.
and kind of like it just kind of distracted me from it. But I did like the actress that played her. I think she did a
Yeah.
fantastic
Me
job.
too. I think she was really good.
And yeah, the voice was
Yeah. I
excellent.
liked what they did with that. Also, the first death was well. I mean, not the first death, but like the first death by Pinhead herself. That was pretty nice
Was it
with Nora, right? When she's like sprung up by the chains, and then Pinhead pulls the nails or the pins out of her head and pushes them through her esophagus. And you get like the
yeah,
fucking not X-ray, but like the inner shot of the
yeah?
pin moving through her esophagus, and then she does another one, and then
And
rips it out. It's like, what?
it's just like changing. It's changing how she screams and
Yeah,
stuff.
it's like fucking playing the trumpet or something, just pitching the frequencies.
That was pretty crazy.
Ooh, yeah, good stuff. I also what I liked about the Cenobites in this is they felt a bit more like I don't know, menacing, and even like just because they groaned and they made like noises, like slimy noises as they moved. They were like
Yeah.
actively, I think, suffering. Whereas I think in the original, it was a much more like, I don't know, like uniform. Like it was very, like, I don't know, like they were an army or something, like soldiers or something.
Yeah,
Like it was a much more.
they looked like a fucking 80s punk
Yeah,
band
right.
in the
In this one, they
original.
feel a bit more fucking horrifying.
They feel a bit more scary in this one. In the original, they were like standing in the way like an album cover.
Yeah,
They all wore leather and stuff. Like this one they kind of had some different costumes and stuff, and I think like even her Pinhead's costume was just like almost just like her skin, and it was just all cut in different patterns and
yeah.
stuff, which was pretty cool. Where in the original it was just like fucking leather fucking suits on all of
It's
them,
just a fucking sadist.
which was
Yeah,
fine, but it just they kind of looked like fucking a punk band. But um,
definitely.
what was the
Oh, go ahead.
I I did not like the Trevor character in this film. I thought he was a little forced.
Yes,
Like they were trying to like kind of, I don't know, he just felt kind of forced. And the one thing, the twist at the end with Trevor, I didn't
that
like
was
that.
pretty
I
poorly
thought
done, man.
like that just kind of like there was no real hints at all to it, and it didn't really feel natural at all.
Yeah,
Like it felt like something that it felt literally like a last minute, like producers came down to the director and said, okay, we have to have this, as like this needs to happen, like a twist needs to happen, and they're like, okay, we've already shot 80% of the
yeah,
movie, what the fuck twist can we add? Okay, here's the twist. Like it just felt like so last
definitely.
minute.
Even the motivation for it,
Like
because Voight was like to Trevor, he's like, he'll do whatever I say as long as I pay him. It's like, all right, well, that's kind of boring,
yeah,
right? It's like, all right.
the other thing, dude, other thing I have, like the like so with most slasher movies, especially with Scream 2022, going back to that
Mhm.
movie, you kind of know the killer because
It's
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 like
the
the
white
white
dude.
guy.
It's
Oh,
the white straight dude.
the one white straight man that made it all the way to the end without dying.
That's that's
That's got to be the
that's gotta be
killer.
him.
In this movie, everyone, like almost everyone died in this. And I didn't know. Like at first I saw the white guy, I was like, okay, Trevor's obviously going to
Hmm.
die. Trevor didn't die first. I was like, okay, where we going? I know he's going to die at one point. And then there was a scene where I was like, okay, I think he's going to
Hmm.
die. And then he didn't die, and I was like, okay, he's going to make it all the way to the end. And I was like, you know what? Good for them for not falling into the Scream
And then they
2022
pulled a
formula.
cheap twist out of their ass.
Yeah, they did pull the cheap
I wasn't
twist,
even
but
100%
I
sure
do.
if Trevor recognized Voight the first time. 'Cause it kind of makes sense, but it wasn't like I didn't. Okay, so this is my issue with it. That wasn't really an issue, but after the chatter bit him a whole bunch, he was basically going into shock, and then he was talking to Voight.
Yeah.
He was all fine, and then kind of passed out again, but I'm not sure. So was he just playing all that, or was that just bad direction?
I mean, I really like the director. I don't want to disrespect him,
Fair
but
enough.
it may have been bad directing
Yeah, sorry,
on
sorry,
that
Mr.
part.
Bruckner. I don't mean to.
I do like this movie though. I think if you get past that, there's some really decent kills, really decent special
Hmm.
effects. Some of the practical effects in this, especially the ending, like the final ending scene of him looking upon the Leviathan, or
Yeah,
that, I'm pretty sure that was mostly practical. That was fucking awesome.
that looked
Um,
great.
what
Oh,
was
what I
the
did. Oh, it's just because you were talking about homages, they
yeah,
pulled in the chatter, which is really cool. But then they killed him off, and like this, that was a really good plot twist. I think I liked
I
that.
I
That
like
was a
that
good
scene.
subversion.
I like that scene. That's when I thought fucking Trevor was
Me
gonna
too, because he was
die.
getting
I
his
was like,
arm
all
bit
right.
like right in the fucking right by the veins in the elbow,
hmm
and then
I thought she was gonna stab him right
me too.
there, and I really liked Pinhead. Like I love how they went back to Pinhead, and it wasn't like this whole. It was just like she knew, and she's kind of like, damn.
Yeah, it's just like
Like she kind of
checkmate.
like it was just such, dude. It was such great acting on fucking her
Yeah,
part in that scene. Like that whole scene was so good. I like it. That was like a good twist in my
yeah, because
opinion.
like when the
Like
chatter, I think it's chatter, right? He's running towards them
yeah,
and
the
like kind of
chatter.
locks them behind the big opening gate against the wall. You can kind of see her smiling because it kind of cuts back to it for a reaction shot,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
then afterwards it does it again when she's smiling, and then again when she's like not quite frowning, but noticeably. But it's like
Hmm.
really subtle. It was well done.
And then I did like the ending when Riley was like, so you get the thing. Which one is she gonna pick? Okay, she's gonna pick resurrection and bring her brother
Hmm.
back. Like that's what they hint at. And then Vought is like, they're fucking like, the Cenobites are liars. Like, I chose sensation because I wanted to have more pleasure or
Hmm.
whatever. And then basically they fucking gave me this device that pulls on all his nerves or
Yeah,
something
just
to the point
enough.
where he's
Yeah,
just enough so where he can't get used to it and he's just constantly in pain or something. And he's like, they're fucking liars. Don't listen to them. And then at the end, they get all the victims. What is it, 7 or so? 6 or 7
6. Yeah, 6 or
victims?
7. Yeah, I think 6.
It's something like that. They get all the victims, and then all of a sudden, she's like, they're like, what do you pick? And you're like, oh, fuck, is this going to be a dark ending? And then she's like, I don't pick anything. And then they're just like, oh, okay, that's cool.
Yeah.
It's like they give a pretty decent speech about what, like
Lament
you pick
life.
the worst
Yeah,
gift of all, which is life and living with the regret of what could have been.
yeah,
But at the same time, I feel like there could have been a bit of a better ending. Like,
yeah,
I did like when they get in the car and he's like, "What did you pick?" And then he's just like, "I picked nothing. Like I chose to live." And he's like, "Oh, okay." Like I can't remember the line what the guy
mm,
says. Her
hmm.
friend or her brother's boyfriend. I can't remember what the line
Colin,
was,
Colin.
but
Yeah.
Colin. I can't remember what he says, but he says something like, "Oh, was that it?" Or he says something like, "Are you sure?"
Hmm.
Like something like that, which was a pretty okay like line, like to kind of symbolize that she might be living with regret, but
Yeah,
at the same time, it's like at the same time, I just feel like there could have been a little bit more of a decent,
yeah.
like a bit of a darker
I
ending. But
think this is just me spitballing. I think that the whole picking lament and life was just having it's like an acknowledgement of mental illness or like compared to physical illness that it's kind of like at least to a degree on the same scale that there is like a lot of like mental shit that can go wrong and it, like going on living
yeah,
after seeing all that shit after being a drug addict and after losing your brother you're basically going back to shit, right? So it's a lot of mental
yeah,
anguish, which in a sense is also some sort of pleasure sensation, not quite pleasure but a sensation of sorts that's just turned evil. So I don't know.
yeah. The other thing I noticed about this movie was that every fucking character was kind of a fucking asshole.
Yes, I was going to
Like
talk about that.
there was so much yelling and screaming and like and it's like I get it. It's a bit of a darker subject matter, but there was so much screaming. And then when you finally meet Pinhead and the Cenobites, they're kind of polite and they're like talking really
Yeah, it's like,
reasonably.
oh,
And I
they're
was
not
like,
so
oh, these
bad. You
guys
know,
are.
they know what they're talking
I'm like,
about.
yeah, they're pretty chill. I was like, I'd hang out with them.
You see what yeah, man, I know
But
exactly what
yeah,
you mean.
sorry. So what were
Just the fucking the yelling, man, and it kind of talked over each other. I wish there were a few more quieter moments where there was a bit of like just talking between two characters, because I kind of lacked that. And the whole it wasn't even really a subplot; it was basically the plot. So the whole brother thing, I get that him being cut, him being like the first sacrifice, him being taken in, and then Riley pursuing the rest of the puzzle in order to like reach resurrection and get her brother back. But throughout the whole movie, it doesn't really seem like she likes her brother, if not like fucking detest him. Like he pays rent for her, and then the whole thing was just kind of dropped when she chooses life. And I get that if they resurrected him, they would
yeah,
have brought him back as like this fucking weird exoskeleton looking ass Cenobite and whatnot. But it was weird that it wasn't. I don't know. They kind of had the hug at the end, which was nice. I don't know. I just wish there was a bit of more like that we care about them a little bit more, or at
hmm
least their relationship.
yeah.
You know?
A couple scenes. Yeah, I think again this movie was probably hit with runtime
Definitely.
issues. Like I feel like if this had, I mean, this can be said about a lot of movies, especially I've noticed a lot of movies released in like COVID era movies could really benefit from like an extra half hour.
Hmm.
Like so many movies are super fucking rushed. Have you noticed
I
that?
wouldn't mind if Prey was longer. Like movie, like definitely.
Dude, Prey. What the fuck was the other movie that I watched?
Oh yeah, I watched one recently when I said that exact same thing about it. What the fuck was it?
Like the Black Phone,
That's yeah.
I think could have used. It just there's a couple of movies I'm thinking of. I think like Saint Maud.
Mm.
Um What was the other movie that
I
was?
think it's often when you
It
get
was.
movies that are, because this movie was like 2 hours on the dot, and often when it's like 2 hours on the dot, you're like, okay, somebody was making fucking cuts
Yeah.
somewhere.
I think a lot of there's a couple of movies I'll have to come back with some examples, but there are a couple movies I've watched that have been recently released that could just benefit from like an extra half hour
Mm,
to 30 minutes, like extra half hour or an hour
yeah,
even.
definitely. The Minions movie needs more time.
That needs more time in the
Hey,
garbage.
oh,
I've never fucking seen it, but
oh!
I can imagine
This
it's
is
not
gonna
the
be
greatest.
the biggest digression in fucking history because you made me think about movies I saw. This weekend I also saw with my sister at the theaters Moon Age Daydream, the David Bowie documentary. It's actually a really
Oh yeah.
cool. It's like a whole like visual trip. Like it's pretty wild. It's like interchanging live footage of him like performing, him of his
Okay.
art, and him talking about it. It's actually really cool. I check it out if I were you.
That's good. Yeah, I might have to check that out. Um I really no, I mean, I like other than the ending
Mm.
and the CG, the distracting CGI and the ending was a little bit of a bummer. I honestly really enjoyed this and I didn't think I would, so I was really pleased by it. I was a really big fan of the score. There was some really fucking cool
Yeah,
moments with the score. It was like this great like fucking like gothic, just kind of like the original. Like it just had this really great gothic feel to the movie and this really great score that went
I
along
was
with it.
gonna
It was
I was gonna
amazing.
say the same thing when the Voight's Manor is first introduced. I think when we see Riley walking up to it, there's like this like
Yeah.
80s goth music, but there's also like some hi hats and techno in it, so it's like a bit of a blend. That sounded really nice. It's good.
Just want to see.
Oh, who composed?
Yeah, I just want to see who composed it. Ben Lovett.
Dan Lovett. Oh,
Ben
Ben
Lovett.
Lovett.
Ben Lovett. Yeah, not Dan.
British.
No, I honestly really like this movie, and I think anyone who has access to Hulu should check it out. I think I read it was coming to streaming in Canada on Paramount
Mm.
Plus on October 25th.
Oh man,
I do not know much about Paramount
I got
Plus,
it
but I
to
would.
watch Insidious 1 and 2 and then canceled it. There's literally it's a wasteland, man. There's Halo on there, and it's like when Netflix first started. That's what Paramount Plus is right now. It's a wasteland.
Oh man. Yeah, I would highly recommend this movie, especially if you're a fan. I mean, I haven't read the original Hellbound Heart, but I have heard from people they say it is a little bit more inspired
Mm.
to the book, which is nice. And I'm just reading this right now. I don't know if this is true or
Oh, right
not.
on.
Interview with Entertainment Weekly, it was revealed that the film's producers auditioned drag performer Gottmik for the role of Pinhead after Gottmik showed off a Pinhead-inspired look for a runway on RuPaul's Drag Race.
Oh wow.
I am no longer a fan of this movie. Do not watch it.
Oh my god. Hey, RuPaul is
I'm
not a
just
bad
no,
show.
I'm
Not
just
a bad
fucking.
show at all.
I accidentally jerked off to the RuPaul
Hey,
Drag
haven't
Race.
we all? And with that,
No, no, those are fucking. That's a
that was
lie.
Anaconda
That's a
by Nicki
lie.
Minaj.
I fucking remember that Nicki Minaj Anaconda
I
video,
won't
dude. I
lie.
remember someone told me a story. They got their fucking teacher to play the music video in class, and there's just fucking 6 women twerking their
Yeah,
asses
man.
off on
In
camera, and
like the
it's just
tiniest songs. I think this is the wrong video. Good
brutal.
stuff. Oh man. Well, I guess unless you have any last remarks, Hunter, any
No,
on
I don't got
Hellraiser,
too
no.
much. I mean, other than
Recommend it to a friend.
I was really impressed by the film. I really liked it. I highly recommend it.
Right on.
So go check it out. What are your final thoughts on it?
Bit more of a mixed bag for me, but I think I liked it more than I disliked it. I didn't dislike it. I shouldn't say that. It was just more like I wasn't entirely blown away by it, but it was still good, and definitely go check it out if you can fucking find it. Um, yeah. But on yeah, it's a good Halloween treat, and definitely if you're a fan of Hellraiser, definitely go check it out.
Alrighty. And I guess that's going to do it for this episode of EchoVideo Podcast. Alright, next week we are going to watch the WNUF Halloween special, which is on Shudder. And I watched this last year. It is a very weird movie. I remember enjoying it. I can't really fully remember it, but
All right.
we'll definitely have to check that out.
That sounds like
It's pretty
a
enjoyable.
good time. Let's do it.
Alrighty. That is going to do it for this episode of EchoVideo Podcast. Thank you all for listening, and we'll see you next week.